So, Ginger,
Yeah?
you know how we wanted to start a podcast, but we were having trouble coming up with a topic?
Yeah?
Okay, so here's my pitch. The topic of the podcast is us trying to come up with the topic for the podcast.
What, like we pitch each other podcast ideas and that's the podcast?
Yeah, exactly. We could call it, What Should Our Podcast Be About?
Miles, that's really stupid. Let's do it.
What should this song be about? I'm trying to figure it out. What should this song be about? Could you perhaps help me out? I've had a moment of doubt. What should this song be about? Welcome to What Should Our Podcast Be About? The podcast where we try to figure out what this podcast that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm Miles Grover.
And I'm Ginger Barham.
We were off last week. We went to Arizona, which it turns out is literally hell in July.
Yeah, do not recommend. You can't go outside.
It was 112 degrees.
Yeah.
Which is a completely stupid temperature for it to ever be.
Yeah, we actually did great though because we just stayed inside.
We mostly stayed inside.
And stellar air conditioning there.
Yeah, true.
They do have an amazing children's museum.
Yeah, their children's museum is amazing.
Worth visiting Arizona just for that.
Yeah, we've been to several, because of our children that we take to them.
Yeah. It'd be weird if we didn't have children and we were into children's museums.
A little weird, but that one was very, very good.
If I were a kid, I would be in heaven. I would have just loved to have had something like that.
Like a 3-story climbing structure made of all kinds of, like a boat and a tub and
a bathtub with like giant wings
on it
floating in the air.
Yeah,
just so cool.
All kinds of crazy nets and meshes and tubes and
yeah, it looked very like cobbled together. It had kind of a very like Lost Boys Neverland feel.
Yeah, I was going to say like a Peter Pan Pirates kind of thing or whatever. Very cool, very cool. And they also had like a thing that just blasts foam and bubbles that you could just jump around in, which is pretty cool.
This is in Phoenix.
The Phoenix Children's Museum.
In case anybody ever wants to visit.
Very cool. I have a few updates from previous episodes. I have some bad news about the squirrel that left us a ketchup packet.
How bad is the news?
Not that bad.
Okay.
The bad news is he's very bad at his job.
Okay.
As a ketchup marketer.
I was really afraid you were going to be like, the squirrel died or something. And
I cannot confirm or deny if the squirrel has died. As far as I know, it hasn't, but it could have. But that's not the bad news.
Okay, what's the bad news?
The bad news is that he brought the ketchup packet that he brought was, I found a picture I had taken of it. It was Sir Kensington's classic ketchup.
Okay.
And Sir Kensington's is a brand that makes mayonnaise now and stopped making ketchup like 2 years ago.
Oh, so he brought us expired ketchup?
He brought us ketchup.
Possibly expired ketchup.
If he's a marketing brand ambassador for that ketchup brand, he's very bad at it. He's very late. Cannot buy it anymore. Except on like eBay for a lot of money, I guess, or something.
What?
I mean, not a lot of money, but more than it would cost.
Because I was like, did you look it up? And there are ketchup packets for sale on eBay for lots of money?
I don't think they're. I didn't see ketchup.
Because there's a lot of niche markets out there. I don't know.
It's true, but I think it's just like people who liked that brand of ketchup can only get it whatever like stores are remaining because they're not making it anymore.
I think that's funny to think about people that are that brand loyal over ketchup, because I feel like ketchup is pretty much ketchup. I feel like I never met anybody who's like, no, I only like Hunt's or I only like Heinz. I'm a Heinz man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are like the most generic brands. There probably are people who are like, I only eat,
Sir Kensington's?
Sir Kensington's, I guess. Actually,
Do you really think there are people out there like that? I don't want to be friends with those people.
There must be some people because they're selling them on eBay. Right? There are people who were buying that brand and liked it, I guess.
Yeah.
I have actually had really amazing ketchup one time that I can think of.
Okay.
Some restaurant we were at somewhat recently, like in the last couple of years, I remember the ketchup, like I was dipping my fries in the ketchup. I was like, this is the best ketchup I've ever had. I just ate the ketchup after I ran out of fries. Like, it was really good. I don't know what was even different about it. I don't think I was high or anything. It was really good ketchup, and I'll probably never have it again. I don't remember what restaurant it was at or anything. But anyway, the main point is that Squirrel is bad at his job as a ketchup marketing professional because he's about 2 years too late to bring us this ketchup packet. and get us turned on to Sir Kensington's.
Are you going to try Sir Kensington's now?
If I get a hold of it somehow, they don't make it anymore. So
you're not going to go on eBay and purchase any
Probably not going to buy it because you probably have to buy it in like a carton or I mean like a pallet or something.
What if the squirrel was just trolling us and you're like, I got a stockpile of this stuff. Don't you wish you had some?
Maybe the squirrel, maybe it was a flex from the squirrel. Weird flex from the squirrel, but okay.
You know what I've got in my tree? Organic ketchup.
Organic, premium, artisanal ketchup you can't get anymore.
He's like, I'm kind of a big deal.
Among the ketchup heads out here in the woods.
Tree smells of leather-bound books and mahogany.
And ketchup.
And ketchup. Artisanal ketchup.
He's a very sophisticated squirrel, especially about ketchup, but also in general. I have another update, which is last time I was talking about, and I'm excited about this one, because last time I was talking about the sort of futility of writing music reviews, right? And how it's like sort of impossible to really describe music in a good, like useful way. And I was trying to think of, I didn't have any examples, but I was trying to remember certain like Pitchfork articles I've read that are just really wild and unhinged. And I have found one.
Okay.
I found maybe the one I was thinking of because this one is amazing and completely bonkers. And I'm going to read you some excerpts from it.
Okay.
This was written on October 2nd, 2000.
All right.
By Brent D. Crescenzo on Pitchfork. So this is a review for Kid A by Radiohead.
Okay.
So these are just excerpts from kind of random spots in the middle of the review. You can, Google it up and find it yourself if you want to read the whole thing. But these are just some parts that I thought were especially great, by which I mean terrible. Okay, so everything in its right place opens like Close Encounters spaceships communicating with pipe organs. As your ears decide whether the tones are coming or going, Tom York's Cuisinarted voice struggles for its tongue.
What? Whoa. What is a Cuisinarted voice?
I guess a Cuisinart chops stuff up. So it's like a chopped up voice or something, I guess.
So he could have said choppy vocals.
Yeah, but he went with Cuisinarted. His Cuisinarted voice struggles for its tongue.
This is like...
Which voices don't have tongues?
Yeah.
So
what and how does a voice struggle for its tongue?
Right. What does that mean?
Wow.
There's going to be a lot of what does that mean?
Okay, yeah, no, but I'm going to stop you, I feel like.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wait, can we go back to the spaceships for a second?
Okay, yeah. So Close Encounters spaceships have that famous or whatever. You've seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind or whatever?
No.
It's a famous movie from
No, I mean I know of it, but I have not seen it.
Guy makes a tower out of mashed potatoes.
I know about the mashed potatoes and I know about Close Encounters.
Yeah.
And I probably would know the music if I heard it, but maybe I didn't instantly recognize it when you were singing it.
There's like a famous like synth sequence that they use to communicate with the aliens, which is not the melody or anything in Everything in Its Right Place, which is like do 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 do.
I guess it does kind of have a spacey feel to it, maybe.
Yeah, and like I kind of get that you're trying to see if it's coming or going because it kind of does fade in and out or whatever. But
what did you say again? Can we quote the exact thing again?
Yeah, there's a lot of this, so we may be spending a while in this, but okay. Everything in its right place opens like Close Encounters spaceships communicating with pipe organs. As your ears decide whether the tones are coming or going, Tom York's Cuisinarted voice struggles for its tongue.
All right, keep going.
Everything, York belts in uplifting sighs. The first-person mantra of "there are two colors in my head" is repeated until the line between York's mind and the listener's mind is erased. Yeah, okay.
How much weed did this person smoke before they wrote this review?
Good question. I'm going to keep going. Here's another little excerpt. The strings melt and weep as the album shifts into its underwater mode. Okay, I guess it's like a submarine or
underwater level.
One of those like mask toy cars I had as a kid where it would like change from a car to a helicopter or something. Here's another excerpt. The primal, brooding guitar attack of Optimistic stomps like mating tyrannosaurs.
Headcock doesn't come across on podcasts, but I just... What? Wait, did it say it stomps like mating Tyrannosaurus Rexes?
The primal brooding guitar attack of Optimistic stomps like mating tyrannosaurs.
So tyrannosaurs stomp while they mate.
Apparently.
I guess.
I don't know that there's any scientific backing.
Why are they mating? I feel like you could have just said stomping tyrannosaurs.
Right. You got to be as specific as possible with your weird ass metaphors, I guess. Maybe he wanted to say sounds like Tyrannosaurus fucking or something.
I just feel like this is not a very relatable metaphor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. The ending flares with tractor beams as York is vacuumed into nothingness.
What?
The ending flares with tractor beams as York is vacuumed into nothingness.
Okay. R.I.P. Tom York, I guess.
Yeah, he's gone. Tractor beamed into nothingness. York's breath can be heard frosting over the rainy gray jam.
Wait, is that jam like, this is my jam, or is that jam like jelly? Because it's kind of hard to tell with this kind of review.
I think it's supposed to be jam like music.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I know.
Yeah. York's breath can be heard frosting over the rainy gray jam, whatever that means.
I think this guy was hungry.
Words accumulate and stick in his mouth like eye crusts. Ew.
Ew.
Walking, 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 he mumbles, while Johnny Greenwood squirts whale chant feedback from his guitar.
No, it's disgusting.
I'm going to read that again.
All right, hold on. Let me brace myself.
York's breath can be heard frosting over the rainy gray jam. Words accumulate and stick in his mouth like eye crust. Walking, 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 he mumbles, while Johnny Greenwood squirts whale chant feedback from his guitar.
I hate it.
What on earth is literally any of that supposed to mean?
I hate it.
This album is gross, I guess, is what I'm getting from this. Like,
how do words stick? Why does eye crust stick in your mouth?
well, yeah, I think it's supposed to be like eye crust sticks in your eye. Probably,
no, I get it.
But yeah,
but it's disgusting. Weird. It's making me think of eating eye boogers.
Yeah. But what does it mean for words to stick in your mouth like eye crust or like anything? Like, how do words accumulate and stick in your mouth? That doesn't mean anything. And what on earth?
Please don't ever
whale chant feedback from a guitar.
Please don't talk about squirting whale chants.
Yeah.
Oh, this was per Pitchfork?
Yeah.
What are their editors doing?
I'm pretty sure they have a review for an album which is just a picture of a monkey peeing in its own mouth. So they don't have editors.
Oh, okay.
Or they are on board with whatever this kind of stuff is. So yeah, I mean, Pitchfork is pretty famous for this kind of stuff, but I feel like this is the epitome of it. But yeah, squirting whale chant feedback from your guitar is nothing and terrible sounding, and I don't want to hear it if that's what the album sounds like.
Yeah, because like this doesn't seem so. Yeah, I am having trouble figuring out if this guy likes the album.
Oh, he loves this album.
Or
he loves this album.
This is not a way to get someone to listen to an album.
Yeah, this is his effusive praise of the album. I know what whales sound like, and so I get that he's saying it's like sounding guitar or something, right? It's like mournful or melancholy or something, right? That's got to be what he's saying. But squirting whale chant,
yeah, but
feedback,
why do you say like mournful and melancholy? People understand what that means.
Yeah, it doesn't. It just doesn't. All right, and this is most of the sort of conclusion of the article. The experience and emotions tied to listening to Kid A are like witnessing the stillborn birth of a child while simultaneously having the opportunity to see her play in the afterlife on IMAX.
What?
It keeps. Do you want to stop or should I keep going?
I mean, I wanted to stop a while ago.
Fair. Let's.
Okay, no.
I'm gonna finish this paragraph and then we should discuss things.
Yeah, okay. I just, I never thought I would read a music review that ended with a stillborn birth,
but in a good way, basically.
But in a good.
It's an album of sparking paradox. It's cacophonous yet tranquil, experimental yet familiar. Foreign yet womb-like, spacious yet visceral, textured yet vaporous, awakening yet dreamlike, infinite yet 48 minutes. It will cleanse your brain of those little crustaceans of worries and inferior albums clinging inside the fold of your gray matter. The harrowing sounds hit from unseen angles and emanate with inhuman genesis.
I feel like this review should come with a trigger warning. Like several trigger warnings.
Yeah, I mean, it's from 2000, so maybe that was kind of before trigger warnings were a thing, but the experience and emotions tied to listening to Kid A are like witnessing the stillborn birth of a child while simultaneously having the opportunity to see her play in the afterlife on IMAX.
On IMAX.
So what is this? What is the dead baby playing on IMAX? What are we witnessing on IMAX? The baby soul, I guess.
The baby soul frolicking in the afterlife, I guess.
I guess. Oh, play. Okay, I was thinking of play like music, but I guess you're probably right. It's probably just like frolicking kind of play. But and that's supposed to be good.
I guess. I guess it's supposed to be paradoxical, like awful and good at the same time. Are you saying that the album is both terrible and good?
I mean, I guess, I mean, I know this album somewhat well. I mean, I know some of these songs at least. And like, they are a little bit, noisy and like harsh maybe a little bit in certain ways. So I can see saying like the music is like maybe sort of off-putting in certain ways, but also very beautiful or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's a normal way to put that.
Right.
That is a normal way to put that.
But nobody reads your Kid A review 24 years later if that's what you write, I guess. Right.
Or they don't talk about it on their podcast anyway.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
I also do love the like, okay, well now we're just going to use some adjectives but we're going to throw so many at you that they're pretty much useless. Cacophonous yet tranquil, experimental yet familiar, foreign yet womb-like, spacious yet visceral, textured yet vaporous, awakening yet dreamlike.
I mean, this person was deeply in need of an editor.
Yeah, or something. I mean, like, actually, this is the most helpful part of the review, probably. Like, yeah, I guess it is some of those things.
It just keeps going.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. It's like someone take away this man's thesaurus.
Yeah. I do also love Infinite.
This is written by a dude for sure.
Yeah,
right.
Brett or Brent?
Brett or Brent, right.
Brent, yeah.
Maybe you can speak to this as a dude, but I feel like this is a level of weird pretentiousness that could only be accomplished by that guy. I don't feel like a woman writes this review.
No, it is. There is something weirdly masculine about it. I guess I would agree.
Well, certainly squirting
whale chant feedback. Yeah. I do also just love Infinite yet 48 minutes. To me, there's something very funny about that juxtaposition to me. Anyway,
it's bananas.
I love this. It's so bad and so good, and I love it. I was thinking
this is like the bad movie of music reviews.
Yeah, exactly. Like certainly ambitious. Yeah. It was an ambitious review that this guy wrote. I would love to talk about more of these as maybe like a podcast idea, but I did go and try to look for some more, and I didn't find any of this level. I wasn't finding anything on this level. And like, I mean, there was the one where it was like a monkey peeing into its own mouth. It was the whole review.
I mean, did you look up others of this guy's reviews?
Yeah, I did. But
and this is the weirdest one?
Well, I got through a few paragraphs of a couple of them and was like, oh, this isn't very fun to read. Yeah. So like when they're not unhinged and bonkers, they're just kind of boring. And so I don't know if we would want to have to wade through that.
I wonder if he just saves it for his Radiohead reviews.
Maybe. I did see some people discussing this being like, sounds like an average Radiohead fan. So those are my updates. By the way, I love that. I mean, I love that album and a lot of Radiohead
It's
stuff.
a great album.
So I maybe I'm not an average Radiohead fan, but I did write a report for my French class on a different Radiohead album one time. So I guess I'm somewhat of a fan.
And was it Bananas?
No. I just had to like write about something in French, basically.
Okay.
For French class. So it was like...
So you didn't know enough words to make it bananas.
Right. I didn't know how to say stillborn birth in IMAX in French. So...
But luckily this guy said it for you.
Yeah. I'll have to... I mean,
He said what we were all thinking.
That's right. Listening to Kid A is like witnessing a stillborn birth, but also you get to see her play on IMAX in the afterlife. We were all thinking
I like that you were just picturing like a baby playing with an IMAX screen or something.
No, I was picturing like playing music or playing something like, or just, yeah, I don't know what I was picturing, but.
I mean, he could have meant like you witness it and then you got to watch it again on IMAX.
In the afterlife?
That would be awful.
Yeah. He could have meant a lot of things.
Yeah.
He could have said a lot of things, but these are the ones
these are the things he said. All right. Should we move on?
Yes. We should move on to podcast ideas. I talked a little bit about maybe we could do something along the lines of this more, but we would have to wade through probably a lot of not very interesting stuff to find the real gems. I also, if you have ideas, we can talk about that, but I also...
Yes, I was pulling up my ideas, but I was really confused because I had the wrong list up and it was our list for getting ready to leave for Arizona and it just said cat feeders. because we needed to put out the cat feeders. But I was sitting here trying to figure out
what kind of podcast that would be.
Podcast that was supposed to be.
Okay, a podcast where we look at lists that aren't for podcast ideas and try to come up with podcasts based on the things in the list.
On our list?
Or whatever list we can find, I guess.
All right. There's a lot of lists online.
I did want to mention that I posted a call for bad podcast ideas on the podcasting subreddit, which is, for people who do podcasts, figuring that they might have some good ideas for bad things to do for podcasts.
Okay.
So there are a bunch of those we can talk about.
Okay, I'm pulling up that list.
I sent you that, yeah. But we can also talk about other ideas we had, if we have other ideas.
I didn't have a lot. I only had like one this week, so we could...
Well, do you want to talk about that one first? And then
I don't... Okay, so I don't remember the details of the idea, because sometimes I jot down an idea, and I'm sure that I'll remember the details, and then I don't.
Yep.
So it just says weird sex stuff.
Okay. I have lots of ideas where I just wrote something down and later I'm like, wonder what that was about.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think I would learn my lesson and put more details, but I think I was busy because we were traveling.
Are you sure you're looking at the right list and that wasn't just a to-do list for later? Check off
there was
weird
something
sex stuff?
there was something that came up that prompted me to think about this, and it was just, I think it was just supposed to be like a podcast where we talk about like weird
sex stuff.
Weird sex stuff. But I think that could be kind of hard because, no pun intended, because it could become kink shamey and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Have we had this idea before?
We've talked about.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about like kink shaming as a potential downside to certain ideas we've had. Like, I don't remember exactly what it was idea, but I remember we talked about like if you're into like chicken sex or something. It was like something weird with a chicken or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I remember saying like, I feel like if you're into doing this weird thing with a chicken, you probably understand that it's funny though.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've touched on this somewhat before, but it's probably not. It's probably a little bit different.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
Okay. So do you have any examples of a kind of weird sex stuff we would talk about?
No, because I don't remember why I jotted down this idea.
Okay, that's fine. So there are quite a few ideas on that came back from my post on the subreddit. Have you gotten a chance to look at that yet?
Did look at it. Well, I've glanced at it.
There are quite a few ideas here, so we could probably talk about these for a while. But we can just start with the like most upvoted ones, I guess, and go down the list or whatever.
All right.
Polaroid Fox says Bathroom Stalls with Stranger, an interview-based podcast where you wait for a stranger to use the stall next to yours and you interview them while they drop a doozy of a toozy. Sounds like something an idea we would have.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny idea.
I mean, it's funny. It's very awkward.
It's like, how would you introduce yourself? Like somebody sits down, you hear some noises over there and you're like, hi, can I interview you for my podcast?
Could your segue be like, can I have some toilet paper?
Yeah, can you pass some TP over?
Yeah, and then you're like, so how's it going?
You thinking you don't tell them that it's for a podcast?
No, yeah. You just try and make conversation with them.
Find out about their life or something.
Yeah.
Might be ethical considerations for not telling them that you're recording for a podcast, but yeah, okay.
I mean, you probably tell them at the end.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I do like the idea of just, hi, do you want to be on my podcast right now?
Yeah.
While you're pooping?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess you've got to like mic up when you go into the bathroom and stuff.
Yeah. I guess the audio would be questionable. Even if you had a pretty good, like, maybe you get one of those like shotgun mics and you kind of hook it over the top of the stall at them.
As soon as they say yes, you just
a boom mic of some kind.
Boom
mic. You got some kind of articulated boom that you can kind of swing it down over there.
Yeah. What kind of questions would you ask?
Yeah, that's a question. Like, would it be about pooping, or would it just be while pooping? Or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, are you thinking like everybody gets asked the same questions?
Yeah. I mean, it could be like what'd you eat today? Maybe.
So you're going to interview them about
their poop. Maybe.
I feel like people might be less willing to do that.
Yeah, maybe.
I certainly would.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'd be willing. I think if somebody wanted to interview me while I was pooping, I would be like, no.
Yeah.
No, because I don't really want anybody to know if I'm pooping in a public restroom. I try to do that at home.
You don't want people to like know it was you? You mean like?
Yeah, I don't really like to poop in public.
No. Yeah, no, but like you already are pooping in public.
I know, but I don't want to advertise it.
Well, presumably it would come out, a week later or whatever. Right? It's not live casting.
I mean, but everybody in the bathroom would know.
Right, but like you've just admitted
they're going to know now that you're the girl that's pooping in the bathroom.
Well, they're going to know that you're the girl that pooped in the bathroom once a week ago or whatever.
No, everybody who's in the bathroom while I'm being interviewed.
Well,
this
yeah,
is
but
a nightmare scenario.
They'll just be happy that they weren't the one that got wrangled into this, probably.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. If I'm in this situation, I say no.
Yeah. Unless they're just like, hey, how are you? Then what do you do? Because then you'd be like, fine. Right? Like, I feel like you would feel weird just not saying anything if someone's trying to talk to you.
I'd be like, good.
Yeah. Right. Like, it's an interesting sort of social, question, I guess, because like, if you say it right away that that's what you're doing, the person can refuse and then not feel weird, not like talking to you about it. But if you just like try to make conversation, I feel like at least, and I think a lot of people would feel obligated to at least say something, like maybe they need something or maybe something's going on.
I mean, I'm really good at saying as little as possible. I'm really good at the like.
I've noticed that from the podcast.
In a situation where I don't want to be talking to someone, I'm very good at the yeah.
I mean, like
I'm not going to yes and. I'm not going to give you much to continue the conversation if I don't want to be talking to you.
Yeah, sure. I feel like my first thought if someone was like approaching me or verbally approaching me, I guess, in a bathroom is that they need something or something's wrong or, right?
Yeah.
Like what? Nobody just starts up a conversation for no reason.
If they say, how's it going? You think something's wrong? Or do you think they're just a weirdo?
Well, I mean, I think they're a weirdo probably either way, but like in a lot of cultures, you don't kind of just come out and say what you need. Right, you start with like at least the preliminary like hello. Like I have people at work that that message me on Slack that are like, hello, how are you? And I'm like, just tell me what you want.
Well,
right?
yeah,
like so I could see
I feel
somebody.
Like that's more common in a work scenario.
Sure, but I'm just saying I could see somebody being like, I need toilet paper, but I'm going to start out by just saying hi or whatever, or something. I don't know.
Because I feel like I would just be like, excuse me, can I get some toilet paper?
Yeah, I'm just saying there are cultural differences, right?
Yeah,
not everybody is maybe the same culture as
I guess that's
us.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't,
So if somebody's in the bathroom like, hi, hey, how's it going? You'd be like, what do you need?
I'd be like, hi, I'm pooping.
Do you feel like there's a difference in whether more men or more women are likely to agree to this?
I don't know because I don't really know. I've obviously never really experienced.
You've never tried to interview women in the bathroom?
Yeah, I've never really experienced like the women's bathroom culture.
Yeah.
Right? Like women, my understanding is women do talk in bathrooms, but not while
at the
pooping.
mirror, yeah.
But you might be a little bit more likely. I almost never hear anybody talking in the bathroom in the men's room unless it's like a dad being like telling his kid how to poop or something, right? Or whatever it is. Like, I don't hear people really talking to each other.
Yeah.
I guess it happens in movies and stuff.
I hear little girls singing while they're peeing and stuff.
Yeah. I
don't know if it's a me thing or if it's women in general, but I definitely don't like pooping in a public restroom.
Yeah. From talking to, female friends of mine in the past, it seems like at least the people I've talked to are all very reluctant to make any noise or hear any noise while in a stall. Like if you hear somebody, like I've had friends tell me that like if they hear somebody else in there, they'll just like hold it and wait until the person leaves or something to try it before they poop or whatever. And that seems a bit extreme to me, but like I can understand not wanting to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I make that much noise when I poop.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you got gassy, farty sounds or whatever. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, you specifically.
I haven't done that, but I will like wait for people to leave before I exit the stall.
Sure.
Because like I'm gonna remain anonymous that way.
It does also bring up a ethical consideration of, is it cool to just chill in a bathroom stall all day waiting for people to come in so you can interview them when other people need to go to the bathroom?
I mean, almost certainly not.
I guess it depends on how high traffic it is.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of people waiting, it would be pretty
seems
shitty,
a bit unethical.
Yeah.
All right. Should we move on? What other ideas?
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be our main idea.
Okay, so Evil Dr. Reef suggests a show where the hosts of an old retired podcast record a commentary track directly over their old episodes. Bonus points if they didn't even bother to reduce the volume of the original show playing in the background.
That's kind of funny.
That is kind of funny. I mean, we'd have to retire this podcast.
We could just take a slightly different tack and just take an older episode of ours.
And do a commentary
over it. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah. It would not be good audio, I don't think.
No, it would certainly wouldn't.
It would be terrible
especially
audio.
If we don't reduce the volume at all.
Yeah.
Especially if it's one of our older episodes before we got better mics and the audio quality is pretty bad.
Yeah.
That could be pretty fun, though.
It could be pretty fun. What episode would we do?
I don't know. We'd have to... I think one thing is, if we did want to do this, which I do think it could be a fun idea, is we'd probably need to either stop now and go look at stuff, or before our next episode, look through stuff and decide which episode to do, get set up so we can, listen to it while we're recording, so on.
Yeah. So this would be a good way to make our podcast even more unlistenable.
Yeah. But it could be pretty fun. Maybe it could be an end of the year kind of thing at some point. Like, do a commentary. We also don't have to make it so we don't reduce the volume or whatever. We could do a more legit just commentary just as a silly idea.
I don't know what a commentary we're going to have about.
I mean, a lot of episodes you could be like, oh yeah, remember when Rory kept jumping around all the time and making the noisy
baby
springs?
Rory.
Yeah, we'd have
he's still a baby, but he's not as much a baby.
Yeah,
anymore.
and there were a lot more Rory sounds because we were just like holding him while recording a lot of times.
You could hear his little newborn coos.
Yeah, so we would have some stuff probably to say.
Oh, now I'm feeling less funny and more sentimental.
Aw. This next idea I like and I think could be a pretty fun one. It was posted by Periodic Golden, and they say, "It's not that hard. A podcast where every episode the hosts tackle one of the world's most difficult problems, i.e. peace in the Middle East, world hunger, have a really obvious solution ready, and wonder out loud why no one has ever thought of this before. Bonus points for the solutions being actual solutions people thought about before but have awful consequences, or the host getting the facts about the problem completely wrong."
I like that What the Hell Pod responded, so every right-wing podcast ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
There's something funny to me about smugly announcing I have the solution to all these difficult problems.
Yeah. World hunger. So let's try it. World hunger.
Well, you just gotta feed everybody.
You just gotta give everyone food.
Yeah.
Has anyone thought about just giving everyone food? Actually, in the U.S., we could just
that is actually the solution, but
in the U.S., we certainly have enough surplus.
I mean, the real answer to most of these problems is probably going to be, abolish capitalism. But leaving that aside, I think it could be funny to be like, well, just go to the store. There's lots of food there. Just get some food and give it to people that are hungry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or why don't people who are starving just go to the store?
Have they tried growing potatoes?
I feel like if I was hungry, I would just go somewhere where you got food and then eat it.
Okay, so we're going with first worldliest perspective.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we could call it Americans solving problems.
Yeah.
And we just solve it from the most first world American perspective possible.
Yeah.
Which I guess again is every right-wing podcast.
Right. Yeah, there's something, I don't know. It feels like there's something there to being just well, why don't you just do this thing?
Well, why don't you just try not being in Gaza?
Right. Why don't you just move? You know what it is? It's the Ben Shapiro
the Aquaman
thing. You think people, if their houses got flooded, wouldn't just sell their house and move away?
And sell their house?
Sell their house to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman? Shout out to H-Bomber Guy on YouTube.
Yeah. This could be a fun idea.
Climate change. Yeah, so climate change.
Get rid of cars.
No, we don't want to do that. We want to solve it without doing anything hard.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Stop driving so much.
I don't think you're thinking big enough.
I'm not thinking big enough.
We need to get jetpacks for polar bears.
Wait, I thought you said a simple solution.
No, not to climate change.
I thought you said an easy solution.
Well, and it's easy to say.
Oh, okay. I see.
A solution where you didn't think about it, right?
Oh, okay.
very
Jetpacks
hard.
for polar bears.
Right? Like the polar bears, ice caps are melting. Their icebergs that they walk on or whatever are melting. So we get them jetpacks. Step one, easy.
Okay. And where are they jetpacking to?
Well, to a different one.
A different what? a different planet?
Iceberg or whatever. A different iceberg.
Different iceberg.
That didn't melt yet. Or they're going to Greenland or something.
Okay.
It's fine.
Send all the polar bears to Greenland is step one.
One problem solved is get jetpacks for polar bears.
Could we just send all the polar bears to Greenland? Do they have to go by jetpack?
I don't think we...
do we really want to use do we really want to use more fuel to solve the problem?
Well, if the fuel makes there be more problems, we just get more jetpacks to deal with it.
All right.
We want to give them jetpacks because like we're not sending them to Greenland. It's just like a choice they could make. They get to decide where they want a jetpack to.
Right, because we don't want to take away the polar bears'
their agency.
Autonomy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They could go to Iceland. They could go to Siberia, Alaska. I don't know. There's lots of places up.
Polar bears
pretty north.
need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps.
Yeah. Well, and that's what giving them jetpacks will allow them to do.
Give a polar bear a fish.
Right. But teach a polar bear to jetpack.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's climate change solved.
That's climate change. Well, that's one aspect of it. We could do a whole... I feel like this could have some legs. It sems kind of fun.
Yeah.
So maybe we should come back to this if we want to do this one and maybe look at one or two more ideas.
Yeah, one or two more because we're going to be running out of time soon.
Yeah. There was one that I thought you might actually be interested in.
We can come back to some of these next week if we don't hit them all too.
Yeah. No, we're not going to hit them all. So we could probably use these for a few weeks. But somebody said a show that talks about the things swimmers think about when they are doing their laps would also work for long distance runners.
Wait, who said this one? I'm going to give
this
a
is
shout out.
Netflix and Chill.
Okay.
Podcaster, Well Behaved Women. So I guess that's probably their podcast. They had a number of ideas in this post, but one of them that I thought you might like is like...
Sorry, that just reminded me of the Complicated Women podcast.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. That's a Fantasy High Dimension 20 thing. Yeah. A show that talks about long distance run, like it's basically like shower thoughts, but thoughts you have while you're running. And I feel like you're a runner. Maybe that would resonate with you. Do you ever have like interesting thoughts while you're out running? Besides like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Or whatever.
Mostly I'm like, I don't feel like, sometimes if something's on it's not going to be interesting. Sometimes if something's on my mind, I'll be like thinking it through while I'm running. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the time it's kind of like when I kind of go into that fugue state between like being fully awake and fully asleep where I'm just like
a fugue state. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just my Zen time.
Yeah, sure.
Or I'm thinking about making sure that the next song is upbeat enough for me to keep going.
Right.
But so I feel like something like that we'd have to be interviewing people and getting their thoughts.
Yeah, it would definitely. I think it would be like interviewing different kinds of people that go into that kind of state where you could be thinking about things while you're doing something else. Doesn't have to be runners. Could be runners, swimmers, other kinds of athletes. Maybe other kinds of activities too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if there's that much legs to that one.
I got two.
Okay.
2 legs.
Oh, 2 legs. Oh, as many legs as there are runners, I guess.
As many legs as there are runners.
Times 2.
Yeah. What about a podcast where you interview people while running?
Okay.
And they're like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm trying to get through this 5K.
I mean, it could even be people that agreed to it, but it'd still be pretty funny to be trying to interview people while you're both running and like exhausted, out of breath.
Like, I don't even like to talk to a friend that I'm going running with.
Right.
No.
So that'd be a pretty funny idea.
Yeah.
Our friend Kyle runs a lot of times, I think. So maybe we could get him to be interviewed for that as well. Of course, that would necessitate probably me running, and I have very little stamina.
You could just interview every time they come around, you ask a question.
Or they could run on a treadmill, and I could stand next to them. Yeah.
You're just like, that looks really hard. How you doing? You're sweating a lot. Are you going to make it?
This person said, let's see, Remarkable Duck 6559 says,
Remarkable Duck is a pretty good name.
Yeah. Say you're sick and you're playing a past episode that's a good one to hear if you're a new listener. Make sure you say the date of the past episode, title sequence, and then you from the past is explaining illness, but have a great episode from the past that is great for new listeners. By the end, it's all opening songs and excuses for a solid hour. So I feel like it's a little bit similar to the idea I had at while ago for an all corrections podcast where like we never get to the actual show because we're just doing corrections from the previous show every time.
Yeah, so this is just vamping for an entire episode, basically.
This is even less than that. This is just like, this is like, I'm sick, so I'm going to play episode, 472 from last week or from, 10 episodes ago. And here's that.
Okay. And
episode 472. Sorry, we're sick this week. We're going to play episode 367.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
It's pretty good.
It's kind of funny.
Pretty good, yeah.
It'd be a good like troll one episode kind of thing,
I think it'd be a one-off for sure.
It also wouldn't really be something we could do right now, but I thought it was a pretty funny idea.
Yeah. Should we do any more, or should we? So because we're running out of time, should we try and pick an idea to talk more about?
Yeah. So what have we had so far?
So we've got weird sex stuff.
Weird sex stuff, whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
We could just talk about weird sex stuff, I guess.
Yeah. God, it's not
what
that hard.
What about people that like to dress up like ponies? That's kind of weird. Right? Like we could just do that, I guess.
I feel like pony play is not one of the weirder sex things.
It's pretty weird. I mean, we've seen people at like stuff that are into it clearly, but like I think we're a little bit out of the mainstream as far as that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not in the realm of like what the fuck to me though. Like it's not as weird as some of the things I can think of.
All right, well, we could come back to that and talk about what are the weird things you could think of.
Pony play. I'm not.
No.
Don't get me wrong. Don't take this in that direction.
No, I'm saying we could come back to it and try to see what you think is really weird if you don't think pony play is weird.
I'm not saying it's not weird. I'm saying it's not the weirdest.
Okay, so...
But we got weird sex stuff.
Yeah, so we got weird sex stuff. We could talk about that. We've got
bathroom stalls with strangers.
We've got...
It's not that hard.
And
we've
got the runner thoughts. And we've got the say we're sick every time.
Yeah.
I think it's not that hard is probably...
Yeah, that's
or the
what
weird sex stuff.
I think, well, I mean, I'm always leaning towards weird sex stuff in general in life.
Right.
But I think let's do It's Not That Hard. I think.
Okay.
Well, that could be the title of our weird sex show too.
Yeah. That's not really what you want.
It's usually, a good double entendre.
Yeah. So I guess if we change halfway through, we don't have to change the title.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what do we want to solve next?
I think we should keep talking about climate change because there's different problems with climate change.
Okay.
But we've got one thing sorted,
next?
which is polar bears are having their habitat removed. We've got that sorted. We just give them jetpacks. Okay. What other problems are caused by climate change?
Do we need to teach the polar bears how to use the jetpacks? Or do we expect them to take personal responsibility and figure it out on their own? Like real Americans.
Like real Americans, polar bears. Yeah, I think we would just make sure to design polar bear friendly jetpacks, of course.
Okay, what's a polar bear friendly jetpack?
I don't know. It like fits on their paws or something. Or I mean, it goes on their back, but like... It'd be very intuitive for them to figure out how to use it.
Okay.
Obviously.
Okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like we got polar bears sorted.
Polar bears are sorted. If the water rises too high, it will cover a lot of places people live. So that's a problem.
Give everyone boats.
Boats, more stilts. Put everyone's house on stilts. All houses are to be retrofitted with stilts no matter where they are, so just in case. Even if you live on the top of
even if you live in
mountain,
Arizona?
Yeah, even if you live in Arizona, you never know how bad it's going to get.
Yeah.
But definitely if you live in Florida or like on the coast or whatever, just put stilts.
So climate change, we've got jetpacks and stilts.
Yep, technology problems. I'm sure it wouldn't cost that much to just put everyone's house on stilts.
No.
It wouldn't be that hard.
For sure.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
I mean, or you could just sell your house to Aquaman, obviously, but,
yeah.
Well,
one guy can.
Well, Aquaman might need a few houses,
yeah.
I guess.
Okay. What other problems do we need to solve related to climate change?
I guess there's like more blizzards and hurricanes and weather events and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Domes?
Gnomes?
Domes.
Oh, domes.
Domes in addition to the stilts?
I didn't know how gnomes were going to help.
Would a gnome help?
Just have a gnome come and use his little gnome magic to fix it.
Domes. Everyone gets a dome.
So you're saying like the dome, well, if we're going to do domes, do we need stilts? We just put the dome over it so the water doesn't get in.
I've solved
two problems.
So,
although domes on stilts does sound cool, so maybe that could be something.
Yeah, but, well, putting everything on stilts requires more domes, so maybe we just go with the dome. So it's got to be watertight.
Right. Is it a dome or is it just a sphere?
But
Is it a
wait,
full sphere?
but are we creating a like trapped in a car underwater situation?
Well, yes, we definitely are. The domes would have to, I guess they'd be kind of like bunkers from like Fallout or something. Like they'd
yeah,
have to be
everyone lives
self-sustaining.
underwater now.
I guess you're just talking about like the Snorks or somebody
Yeah.
like living in underwater domes.
Yeah. So the dome has to encompass like
What problem were we solving here?
tornadoes.
Oh yeah, hurricanes and stuff. I guess if you are under the sea, you don't have to worry about hurricanes or blizzards or weather in general.
I mean, we just give everyone a storm cellar.
Or like a good coat.
A good coat. That's all you need to protect
for
you
a
from
blizzard and stuff, you know.
But what about a tornado? Is a good coat going to protect you
If
from
it's
a
a
tornado?
good enough coat.
I don't think that's true.
If it's a coat that you can bolt to the ground, I don't know.
Everyone gets metal coats.
If it's a coat that's essentially a dome bolted to the ground.
Everyone gets weighted coats.
And it'll have the bonus of like making you feel comfy and snuggled like a weighted blanket.
Yeah.
Well, everywhere.
So we're solving depression too.
We're solving depression as well. Okay,
Yeah.
that's another thing we could work on.
Yeah.
Let's come back to depression. Like we could potentially
I
solve
always
that.
come back to depression, Miles.
Yeah, unfortunately. If we figure out everything for climate change, we can get to depression. Okay, so food instability, right? Like it's changing crops and stuff, or it's, making it hard to grow crops in places or have droughts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do we solve
that's
that?
not just climate change. That's also just us ruining the land
Well, but like climate change is
by doing monocrops everywhere. Wait, what about bees?
bees.
Bees have been affected by climate change. How are we going to fix bees?
Okay, how do we fix bees? Robot bees.
Robot bees.
Seems pretty straightforward to
We're
me.
going to build robot bees.
We'll just build a lot of robot bees that will pollinate stuff, but they don't have stingers.
No stinger.
So then they can't sting us when they inevitably take over. When they inevitably revolt and try to take over.
When the robot bee uprising happens.
Right, exactly.
We'll be
They
safe.
won't have stingers.
Yeah.
So
okay.
we'll just kind of be like, that's annoying. Stop revolting.
Okay, so we've got domes, stilts.
I think domes solve the stilts problem. We don't need the stilts.
Okay, but they don't really, because everyone's gonna be trapped underwater.
Well, that's fine. It's just a self-sustaining dome.
Okay, so domes.
Domes with a snorkel. That's all you need. A snorkel up to the surface.
How big's the snorkel got to be? You just build the snorkel bigger and bigger?
No, it's just a regular snorkel, but everybody goes up to it every couple minutes to breathe a little bit from it.
This sounds downright utopian. All right, so we've got jetpacks.
I think also the problem with stilts and domes is that
and robot bees.
the domes probably don't protect you from the hurricanes very well if the hurricane's knocking your stilts over, if you're on a dome on stilts.
You just got to build really good stilts.
Or more stilts. If you have like 20 stilts instead of, 2.
Well, right, because everyone knows that building things taller increases their stability.
Well, that I meant wider. Like,
Oh, I see.
you have more stilts under your...
I see.
But probably taller would be good too.
Foolproof, flawless, this plan is.
Yep. So we've got domes, stilts maybe. We've got jetpacks for polar bears.
Robot bees.
Robot bees. How do we solve the crops problem? That climate change changes the climate so that you can't... Your land is barren now.
Well, we have the domes. We have the domes for that. We can climate control our domes.
And just grow stuff in the dome? Okay. So we just save a bunch of the soil we have now and put it in domes, and it'll be fine forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Have we considered wizards? Could wizards help? Wizards could solve everything, really.
Really, yeah. But magic isn't real.
Oh,
unfortunately.
That might be a problem for a lot of my solutions I've been offering, actually. Any other problems with climate change, or does that pretty much solve them all?
Droughts.
Yeah, well, that was kind of part of the problem with droughts is the food situation.
Yeah.
We could just...
but if everyone's living underwater, it'd be fine.
We'll just eat seaweed.
Just poke a hole in your dome. Problem solved.
Yeah, or just like stick some out through your snorkel.
Droughts won't be a problem when everyone is living underwater.
It's true. So we're building Atlantis, basically.
Yes.
Yes, to solve climate change.
Yes.
But the polar bears on the surface have jetpacks.
Yeah. So we all look up and watch the polar bears whizzing by from our underwater utopia.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so climate change solved.
Solved.
All right, depression. We're solving depression now.
Okay, we've got like
We've only
5
got
or 10 minutes.
Yeah, we've only got a few minutes.
But this shouldn't
it should
take
be
us
pretty
long.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard everyone just needs to go outside.
Yeah, just go outside.
Yeah.
Well, Okay.
That's going to be hard.
It's going to be difficult when you're in your domes in Atlantis.
Yeah.
Unless you're a polar bear.
Yeah.
Polar bears will not be depressed.
Yeah.
In this
Have you
species.
tried drinking?
Drinking alcohol?
Uh-huh.
It is the cause of and solution to all of life's problems,
Right.
I've heard.
Yes. Shout out to Homer Simpson.
Have people who are depressed considered just thinking about happy stuff?
Like raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens?
Well, are those those are a little melancholy to me, I feel like.
Bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens?
Bright copper kettles make me think of my grandmother, who's dead.
What about snowflakes that stay on your nose and eyelashes?
Is that what the words are there? I think I've run out of the words I know to that song after a few lines.
We can't say silver white winters that melt into spring because climate change is getting rid of that one.
Right. It won't be that anymore.
Yeah.
Or it'll be always that or something.
Yeah. One of us has watched Sound of Music more times than the other.
I guess so. Yeah. I sang that song in chorus in like 4th grade, I think. But, don't remember it very well.
Well, I don't know how many times I've watched Sound of Music, but it's a lot.
It's probably more than 3.
It's definitely more than 3.
Maybe even more than 7. Okay, so
Maybe even more than 10.
but depression. We're solving depression.
Everyone goes to see Sound of Music live.
Oh.
The sing along. You can't
Okay.
sing along to Sound of Music and stay depressed, I promise.
I don't particularly. I think it might not work for me.
Well, have you tried? Have you been to a Sound of Music sing along?
No, because the idea makes me feel depressed.
Aww.
No, I'm just kidding. Everyone goes to Sound of Music sing along. How about just everybody gets tickets to go to something fun?
Okay.
That solves everybody's depression.
Yeah.
You just give everybody tickets to something fun. And if you're a performer in the fun thing, you get tickets to a different thing, I guess.
And when the fun thing is over, there's not likely to be any come down.
No. Okay, maybe there'll be a come down. How about drugs for everyone? Antidepressants for everyone.
Yeah. I mean,
That's actually kind of a good idea.
that's
I mean,
actually
not a
like
good-
not
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 everyone.
everybody, but like I mean, we know the if we're gonna go real solutions, it's medication and therapy usually.
Yeah, and like not having a society that's structured around, scarcity and fear and
Not living underwater.
yeah, that might be a problem. Vitamin D pills for everyone.
Vitamin D would be helpful
Maybe not for
if
people,
you're living underwater, I guess.
people who live in hell/Arizona, but
Um,
places where we live where you don't get enough sun.
Yeah. I mean, part of the problem is it's not that we're not getting enough sun, it's that we're not getting outside enough.
Yeah, true. Why are we doing vaguely realish solutions?
Yeah, I'm depressed now.
Yeah. That clearly didn't work.
That did not work. So don't talk about depression.
Everybody gets their own podcast. You can't be depressed while you're doing a podcast.
Have you tried? Well, moving out of the US, I think, would probably be a good first step.
Well, there's depressed people all over the place.
Well, that's true. But like hearing about the US, being in the US, knowing about
Thinking
the
about
US
the politics in the U.S.
is very depressing.
Yeah, but the U.S. unfortunately still exists even if you don't live in the U.S.
Yeah.
and still will be depressing probably.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the solution.
Maybe get a kitten.
Maybe get a kitten like the song "Hey Kirby"
Yeah.
by Aesop Rock.
Yep.
If you haven't heard that song, it's a rap song about his kitten that he got. And in the song, he says that his shrink told him to get a kitten.
15 years taking prescriptions, now a shrink like, I don't know, maybe get a kitten.
And honestly, not a bad
It's
suggestion.
probably not a bad idea.
Like, it's really hard to be depressed while you're playing with a kitten.
Yeah.
Foster kittens.
Yeah. But
If you don't want to like have a kitten, you could foster kittens. You will also get the satisfaction of knowing that you are helping the kittens of the world.
Actually, no, wait. I've solved it. It's so simple. It's the same solution as the polar bears. Give everyone a jetpack.
Okay, so when you're sad, you just go
You just go for a little fly.
Yeah. What if you're afraid of heights?
Well, you just jetpack a little ways off the ground.
So, okay.
Everybody will be happy if they have jetpacks. I mean, I think that's actually scientifically true. Scientifically proven. If you give everybody a jetpack, everyone will be happy. And on that note, I guess we're probably about at our time.
Yeah. So you're welcome.
You're welcome.
We've solved all of the world's
several
problems. Most of the world's problems.
Several big ones, at least.
Yeah. All right. So shall I do our social media?
Yes.
You can find all of our links to our social media on our website, coolpodcast.website. You can email us your ideas to ideas@coolpodcast.website. Please send us your ideas. We want to talk about them and give you a shout out. Thank you to everyone on Reddit that gave us ideas this week.
Shout out again to Periodic Golden on Reddit who had the It's Not That Hard idea.
And yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Welcome to What Should Our Outro Be About? The outro where we try to figure out what this outro that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm still here.
And I'm also still here.
I actually have a few things
Okay.
to talk about for an outro. Do you have any things?
Nope.
As expected. I have some animal facts, a couple of turtle facts, actually.
All right.
One interesting fact. Have you heard of turtle doves?
Yes.
They're like a kind of dove, basically.
Yeah, they are the titular dove in the 12 Days of Christmas, right?
2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. Yes,
Yeah.
they're the thing you get 2 of every day.
Titular the right word there?
Sort of.
Okay.
Not really. Eponymous, maybe.
All right. Well,
So, interesting fact is that turtles are named from turtle doves, not the other way around.
what?
Yep.
Okay.
So turtle doves are called turtle doves, I guess, because the sound they make kind of sounds like turtle, turtle, or something like that.
That's wonderful.
And I just realized that when I said that, I was doing Master of Disguise, Dana Carvey's
Ah, yes, yes. I was like, this sounds
Turtle,
familiar.
Turtle,
That's
or
what it
whatever.
was. Yep.
haven't even seen that movie. We should watch that movie sometime. It's a bad movie.
Yeah. My brother liked to quote it a lot, but I've never watched it.
Like the English word turtle comes from like people getting turtle doves and the like French word for tortoise confused or something like that, I guess. Another fact about turtles that I had no idea about, at least some turtles, is that if you don't take care of your pet turtle very well, it can grow a long duck beak, long duck bill. Here's a picture.
Oh my God.
Like, it looks like a duck.
It looks like a duck.
And I guess that happens if like their nutrition is weird or messed up or something.
Oh.
It can be fixed. Like you can take them to a turtle rescue place and they'll like clip their beak for them or whatever. But totally wild thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, if you Google turtle duck beak or something, you'll probably find pictures like this. Like, yeah, no, I had no idea turtles could have like a duck or platypus type of beak.
Yeah. No, me either. I mean, it looks photoshopped.
Yeah, apparently not though. I think that's all I've got right now as far as animal facts. Is that a sufficient outro, you think? Or do we need more?
I think that's sufficient. Yeah.
Turtle facts? You got your turtle facts for the day.
Yep.
And a little bit of a Dana Carvey impression, I guess.
Climate change could be solved by giving everyone a turtle shell.
Okay.
Everyone's
Which part
got-
does that solve?
Everyone's got a little climate controlled shell to live in.
Okay, so everybody has their own little house.
Yeah, on their back.
And famously, turtles aren't affected by climate change.
It is going to create some orthopedic problems, probably.
Probably. But as we all know, turtles aren't affected by climate change, so that's a good solution.
Yeah. All right.
That's another turtle fact for you. Turtles are not affected by climate change. They're immune to it.
Don't Google it.
Don't correct me if I'm wrong. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We're sorry, and we won't do better next time. Bye.
What was that podcast about? I'm trying to figure it out. Didn't catch what that was about.